Hi, and welcome to Business in Bloom, a show about budding businesses all around the town. Brought to you by L Group. And now your host, Tara Becker.
Hello and welcome to In Bloom. I'm your host, Tara Becker. And our first guest is Joanna Kennedy. She owns and directs the Center for Greater Loving, where Joanna offers private sessions, products, and workshops that help liberate men and women to be their natural selves, have passionate sex lives, and create deeply loving relationships. She dedicates her life to helping women and men take off their masks, be themselves, and remember the power and potential of love. Personally, she practices living every moment of life as an expression of love, joy, peace, and passion, while keeping a constant focus on authenticity and intimacy. In addition to her work with the Center for Greater Loving, she consults with and presents seminars to corporations and organizations on all aspects of diversity in the workplace. Joanna Kennedy, I'd like to welcome you to In Bloom.
Thank you so much, Tara. It's great to be here with you.
Oh. Well, I've got so many questions for you, so I know we're going to have to cram it all in. Now, and you say you from knowing a little bit about you, and the authenticity and intimacy, it really sounds like you're very dedicated to authentic relationship. What is your story, and why are you so passionate about this?
Authentic relationship for me actually started because on the outside, at one point in my life, you would have thought that I was the happiest woman on earth and that I had everything I wanted.
Yeah.
And the truth was, it looked like that on the outside, and inside I was crying all the time. I'd pick up the phone and call my mom, I would cry. I would pick up the phone and call a girlfriend, and I would cry, and it was regular all the time. And my background's actually in electrical engineering and business, and I was climbing the corporate ladder in the oil and gas and high-tech industries of all things.
Right.
And I was so, in a way, I was so inauthentic. And it wasn't that I was consciously inauthentic, it was that I had no idea. I'd followed basically the women's movement.
Right.
And I'd followed the conditioning that you can do anything that a man can do, and there was even that conditioning that you can probably do it better.
Right.
And so I bought into that whole game because it was just everything that my life had led me to. And here I was realizing that I was walking, talking, breathing, and acting like a man in so many different ways. And then I wondered why my romantic relationships didn't work. And so not only am I miserable
right.
in my life, but my romance stinks. And so the real wake-up call was when somebody finally described what the words masculine and feminine meant to me. And they're common words that we all know,
right.
but I had no idea what they actually meant until somebody said, wait, the feminine is receptive. There's a softness to feminine. There's an openness. There's a flow. And you don't have to achieve so much in the feminine. The masculine is very much achievement-oriented.
Right.
And so I was on that achievement wheel, and yet I was exhausted. And I was frustrated, and I was sad. And so waking up now and recognizing that when I stepped back into my feminine, all of a sudden I attracted men in a way that I had never attracted before, and it was fun.
How nice is
it
that?
was totally fun. I remember that when I started becoming conscious of the two different energies of my being, and one time I realized I'd stepped back into masculine energy, and I was with a date, and I shifted mid-sentence, kind of mid-conversation, and he looked at me and went, what just happened? Because you just became more attractive than I can't remember when. And it was in a heartbeat of that shift. And that's how powerful when we get authentic and we really live in our own natural essence, that it creates an incredible connection and passion and chemistry in our relationships that I was completely unaware of. And so now I'm committed to bringing that back out into our own lives as men and women, so that we get to live authentically and feel good within ourselves, and then create that chemistry to have great relationships together.
No, and we're using a little buzzword here about being authentic. What is an authentic relationship, and how can we relate consciously? Because I'm sure they're tied together.
Yeah, absolutely. So authenticity to me it's more than being honest. I actually tie intimacy and authenticity together. there's a way in which our authenticity is about showing ourselves and revealing what's true about ourselves, whether it's our emotions, whether it's our dreams, whether it's our passions. It's the things that we don't necessarily let everybody see.
Right.
And so when I let you see into me,
Right.
I am intimate with you. It doesn't require you to be intimate with me, because I can open and expose myself. And in that space, when I am authentically
Right.
and rawly exposing myself, you get to see the true me. And when we look at who is it that we connect most with and who is it that we fall in love with, can you think of a time when you've, like, somebody, even a stranger, has shared something deep about themselves or even shed a tear,
Right.
and you almost in a heartbeat fell in love with them? That's the nature of authenticity and intimacy, is that we fall in love with not someone's greatness, but someone's humanness, someone's realness. When they open and share, who are they?
Right.
And so that's what authenticity and intimacy really means in relationship. And so how does that show up in conscious relating? Conscious relating is about showing up and being conscious. So what does conscious mean? It means opening up and allowing you to be yourself and me to be myself. And so two of the first key components of a conscious relationship are, first, I need to know who I am.
Right.
And back in those old days of my corporate world, I didn't have a clue who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what made me happy.
Right.
So I had to spend a lot of time finding me again. So in order for me to have a conscious relationship, I have to show up, and I have to know who I am, and I have to bring me to it. And then I have to let you or my partner
Right.
show up also as who they are and welcome that space. So there's a self-awareness and an other awareness that creates that foundation of conscious relating.
Now, I'm sure you have some secrets to conscious relating and, I guess, passionate loving.
Yes.
Could you share some of those with us?
Sure. So some of those secrets, the first one that I always start with is that piece of authenticity and really allowing ourselves to show up and open. Another secret is to understand, who am I in my masculine or feminine essence? And this doesn't matter whether it's a heterosexual relationship or a homosexual relationship, because it's like two magnets. When masculine and feminine energy show up together, they are attracted. They pull together, just like two poles of a magnet. But when you put the two positive ends of a magnet, they repel each other.
Right.
So if I bring masculine energy to masculine energy, which is what I used to do, because I would be attracted to these masculine men, but I was bringing my masculine persona from the workplace into those relationships. Well, we were more like buddies. There was no chemistry. There was no passion. And so that recognizing, how do we come back into those natural essences and create polarity? Now we take that into the bedroom, and we've got a much deeper intimacy and physical passion than we would have otherwise. Men are so drawn to the radiance and light of the feminine. And the feminine is so drawn to the power of the masculine. Not the old patriarchal aggressor power, but that I'm here and I am present to you. And that's very attractive to the feminine. So those are a couple of the secrets that really start bringing the passion back in and keeping us connected, because we all have passion in the beginning. And then it can waver off. But when we find that and we keep that magnetism going, now we've got something to continue to build on.